Welcome back to Senior Savvy Cannabis. I'm Katherine Goldberg. Today, you and me, are going to attempt to get my Florida medical marijuana card together. So, I have started the process since I moved here. I have the call with the doctor in about 20 minutes from now. I have to ask him if I'm allowed, if he will grant me permission to record our conversation because in Florida, both parties need consent for that. So I wanted to use this time to tell you what I've done up until now, and then hopefully you guys can listen in on the call. And if you can't, I'll just fill you in after. So I was told that Florida is very much a pay to play state. So I paid. Um, no problem. Happy to pay. There's the charge for the doctor. That was $180. And then after the doctor gives his approval, there's a charge to the state of Florida, and that's $75. And then I'm officially in the system. Um, Two things to preface this with. First of all, I was told that because two things. One, because I don't have a Florida driver's license yet, but I do have a signed lease and power bill. I can present that to the doctor and be registered as a seasonal patient. And the only issue, not issue, the only thing with that is that I have to wait 10 days to get my card. No problem. I was nervous because I didn't have the Florida driver's license. Okay. Second thing, I was told that for my first visit, it had to be in person. So I found the closest clinic, which was very close to me, and I set up my appointment and I did the intake forms, which I'll tell you about in a second because they were kind of scary. And when I called to confirm that it was okay to present my lease, the nice assistant said, "Oh, like the doctor won't be in that location today. He'll call you on the phone." But this is my first visit. So I got my phone. I think he's going to call me. I imagine he's going to FaceTime so that I can show him my lease. After I called the assistant and she went through my record, in my notes, it said that I've been a California Prop 215 patient for 15 years or whatnot. So perhaps I got moved over in the system to like not brand new, but starting from a different clinic. I don't really know. This is also why I'm going to stand by on telling you the name of this clinic because I don't want to get them in trouble. And if it works out, that would be fabulous, and I'll recommend it to everyone, and we'll see what happens. Um, Great. We have a couple minutes before I have to get ready for this call. Um, the intake forms. Oh my God. Okay, so like if you were getting like they make cannabis out to be like worse than heroin. They're like, yeah, it can help Parkinson's, but it can kill you. Or like, yeah, it can help cancer, but it could kill you. Okay, it doesn't actually say it could kill you, but there are like 12 pages of like every diagnostic criteria that cannabis is acceptable for. And then the devil's advocate side of um, it might not work and it's terrible. So that was like a little, it was just jarring. There was also a whole waiver on like addiction, which maybe I should be more open-minded about that. Because cannabis can be addictive and abused. I think they're just trying to cover their tracks. I don't know. So, and then the other not issue, but exciting variable that has arisen is that so you have to have a very specific condition to meet the criteria to get a Florida medical card. Cancer, anorexia, Parkinson's. There are a couple others, but there's also like a other spot that the doctor apparently can like put in that you meet the requirements for that. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because like, although I absolutely love talking about my cannabis philosophy and how it helps me be the best version of myself, that doesn't fit neatly into a diagnostic box. So, like, yes, I can say that I've been diagnosed with generalized anxiety and major depressive disorder in remission now. Um, but like I'm unsure of what's going to be acceptable. I think I'm honestly just overthinking this because it seems very chill. But we'll see. We'll see. Did I have any other notes? No. Okay. So I am going to pause this and stand by for the call. And then I'm going to ask if I can record for my podcast so I can like tell you guys about the process and send you to his clinic. Um, and we'll see how that goes. I hope this is easy. I guess I just haven't had to like justify my cannabis use in over a decade, so it's a little bit jarring, but that's okay. I'm excited to do it with you. Okay, so stand by and we'll be right back. One more point just before the doctor calls. Homegrow is illegal in Florida, yet it seems like there's sort of like a vibrant underground homegrow network. So I'm curious about that. I feel like the federal government has bigger fish to fry than like me putting one plant out on my balcony. Um, but I'm curious about that. While I was kind of doing my research into Miami cannabis, which is amazing and brand new, and I can't wait to learn everything, there is this guy, I think he's called is he called the Cuban grower. Hold on, let me look it up. Okay, his strain is called the Cuban skunk, and his name is it's from Nelly Farms. And he apparently developed the strain in like 1992, 1993. So he's been in the game for a long time. I invited him onto the podcast. He said he has a lot going on and he'll get back to me. There's also a Florida Cannabis Cup in Tampa around 420, which is like for people to enter their flour or their hash. So I imagine homegrow is still part of the conversation. If anyone has any insight into that, please let me know because it would just be a fun community to be a part of, to learn from, to share knowledge from, to connect with. Okay, I'm gonna wait for this doctor to call me. Okay, we're back. They did not let me record. The doctor said to contact the office because she wasn't sure. I didn't want to get anyone in trouble. No problem. Okay, so she was delightful. It was a lot easier than I thought. Maybe I should have expected it to be easy. But she said, like, how does marijuana help you? And I said, oh, like it helps me eat. It helps me focus. It keeps my catastrophizing in check. It really is the catalyst that allows me to make all these net positive decisions day in and day out. And she was like, oh, fabulous, great. And then she asked if I had tried any other forms of cannabis besides inhaled, which I might have mentioned from the intake form. They like, you have to justify that you've tried two different kinds of cannabis before you try inhaled cannabis. And I said, I have, but I just don't get the results I want from it. And she said, okay. And then it sounds like there's like, she's like, okay, great. Then we FaceTimed for 30 seconds. And she said she's going to enter me in as a seasonal resident and the office will call. And then I'll be ready in like within 10 days to enjoy the Florida cannabis program, which is something I never thought I would say. And the reason I waited so long to move back, well, I liked my companies in California. Um, but it was because like, this didn't exist when I was growing up. Um, which was good because, like I don't know, young people obviously should not be using cannabis, senior savvy. But yeah, so I am going to ask the office if I can like write a blog about my experience and promote them. And then maybe we can have one of the doctors on. Next week, I believe we are having a pain doctor on, local, Florida, to talk about cannabis. So we'll start breaking into that and see where we go. But if you have been hesitant about getting your medical marijuana card in Florida, um, it seems great. It was a very easy process. The office is going to call me now to walk me through the next steps for the state registry. And hopefully I can go film at these dispensaries. That would be awesome because I'd love to give you a tour and it'll be like a kid in a candy shop again. Um, so yeah, go Florida. Fantastic. I'll keep you posted. Bye, guys.